r/AskReddit. What's something you learned from having roommates? We were going through tremendous amounts of toilet paper, and I couldn't figure out why. Apparently, there's a thing people do where they put a third of a roll in the bowl before they do their business. To make a nest, so there's no noise of splashing or whatever. Solving the mystery of the toilet paper was not one of my most profound discoveries. Clearly define expectations from day one. I wrongly assumed we would all just clean up after ourselves. Like one does. And more or less split, general, duties like mowing the lawn, whole house cleaning, vacuuming, sticking around to meet repair people, landlord etc. I started doing all that general stuff because they simply wouldn't care. Not before long it became a big point of contention that harbored animosity and would come out at other times during any sort of little disagreement. At least I mow the goddamn lawn. Quote. Boundaries are important, but once they show they don't care, try your best to get out. If you want to control how all things in the house are done, i.e., cleaning, you will discourage others from helping and end up responsible for everything that needs to be done. I don't like roommates. If I wanted a mom, I would have stayed at home. I learned how to cook very nice meals from scratch from having roommates. Whenever I had frozen dinners or something like that, they would steal them and eat them, leaving me with nothing, and would never replace them. Buy raw ingredients instead. And they wouldn't put out the effort to do anything with them. People that are lactose intolerant will risk their life for good mac and cheese. That everyone has a different understanding of clean and cleaning. My fiance and I got a roommate in September. Not on the lease. Kinda illegally subletting. He's a friend, and us saying there was only 2 of us instead of 3 guys was turning a lot of people away. He's the worst, hogs the TV. He's moved his girlfriend in, who also brought her daughter, 3 cats and dog while they look for a new place. The house stinks. He's lazy as shit. I can't say anything because my partner doesn't want any uncomfortable live-in drama. I mirror other people's sentiments. Don't get a roommate. Don't move in with fun people. The richest, most clean-looking people can be an absolute mess. My housemate, a first-year lawyer still paying off his student debt, was a really good lawyer with an expensive suit on the moment he stepped out of the door. You would trip if you ever entered his restroom however. Lucky he never used the kitchen. Do all you can to avoid roommates and own the airspace above and around you. That's true luxury. Good friends do not always make good roommates. Ensure that your roommates know you are returning to the room. I once walked in on my roommate and his GF in the act. Fortunately, they were both under the covers. Life is cooperative and you have to make an effort to understand others' perspective. If you try to have everything your way, you are in for a bad time. Better to go to the party house than be the party house. Roommates are disgusting. They do not like to be peed on. That women lose a ridiculous amount of hair. I lived with 2 women with 30-inch long hair. Everything was good. But the hair really traumatized me. That I am a terrible roommate. I didn't realize it until they started spending less time with me inside the dorm, and after enough time for self-introspection. It's my own fault though, as I'm very introverted and going through a rough patch in life. Talking to me was like talking to a cold corpse. I feel bad though, 'cause I know they did their best to connect with me, but I was just too stubborn to get out of my shell. If you can live with someone with no problems, you'll probably end up lifelong friends. Pay your rent directly. Do not give you part to the roommate and trust he is paying it. People's normal schedules are all over the fucking place. Setting boundaries are more important than you'd think. I will do anything, depending on mood, maybe murder, to be left the hell alone after work or on a day off. Don't ever room with a couple. You'll be outnumbered in every argument. And when they fight, the entire apartment turns into a war zone. People are fucking disgusting. Roomie went half a year without washing his towel because I'm always clean when I use it. Don't have roommates. I seem to have high standards for cleaning, or my roommates have just been pigs. Thin walls ruin sleep. That people will masturbate right in front of you with a blanket over them and think nobody knows. Almost a daily occurrence. Never live with someone who 1. Can't take care of themselves, 2. Openly has anger issues that affects their day-to-day situations, 3. Has no financial foundation to fall back. Oni recently got out of this situation where I let a new friend be our third roommate. The past 4 months have been a nightmare and it didn't end well. I am not saying that you shouldn't be friends with people who have these qualities. But it's not smart or fair to yourself to be put in that situation. If at all possible, always make sure you have a plan in case things suddenly go south. You cannot always trust the other person to do what they are supposed to do. Like pay their portion for bills. People don't know how to do their dishes and it drives me crazy. I can't even do my dishes because the sink is full of their dishes. Buying cleaning supplies does not count towards pitching in on the cleaning. Mind your damn business. Just because you live together doesn't mean you have to know or be included in everything. Don't be roommates with friends. Those are friendships destroyed. That roommates suck. That every person has a different tolerance level for clean and dirty. After college, I lived in a 3-bedroom condo with 2 other roommates. One of the guys, Brian, was a really nice guy, but not the brightest star in the sky. I think he had suffered some brain damage in a motorcycle accident before I met him. He worked as a night janitor for the city. We shared a bathroom, which I ended up cleaning regularly, because it simply didn't bother him how it looked. I accepted the fact that my tolerance was lower than his. So I just did the cleaning when it was needed. They want to fuck me. That I don't like having roommates. Women are surprisingly filthy. That if you have an opposite sex roommate, everyone assumes you're a couple. I don't shit where I eat FFS. If they cheat on there so they will have no trouble screwing you over. Don't look the other way over shit like that when a lot of money and rent and bills are at stake. Even if you're great friends and they only did it because they were drunk, etc., etc. They will screw you over if they have a reason to. Their ass are never clean. Keep your valuable food, sugar, coffee, olive oil, butter in a fridge in your room. It will be used. You will be mad. Itching powder is a thing. One put it all over my towel in the bathroom when we weren't on speaking terms, broke out in a whole body hives. Made no retaliation. Moved out. Wherever you are, Ashley. Eat shit. Edited for spelling. Sometimes you treat yourself to a brand new carton of expensive fancy almond milk and then it's empty the next day, but no one will say who drank it, Alan, even though you're not the kinda person who gets angry at people for stuff that's inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. You should probably start keeping it in your own mini fridge. Better have an early fight about SMTG you want to be done rather than hold grudge until the situation becomes unbearable for everyone. Yet some people never change and friends can both become awesome or terrible roommates. Not to ever have roommates, ever. Never to have roommates? Don't judge the book by its cover. She may look like the most put together person in the entire world, yet still shit like an elephant and not clean after herself with the toilet brush. The word clean has a very wide spectrum of interpretation. That I am clean. Kyle will definitely drink your booze. We are all horrible people in our own unique and insufferable ways, but in the end of the day, we are still just people trying to live in the same room, house, flat. My cleanliness levels are subpar by most people's standards. Some don't like to be called roommate, but insist on being called wife. I may be the only person who didn't hate having a roommate, but I had my first one in my mid-20s. And we sat down and discussed expectations before signing a lease. We would clean together every Saturday for a few hours while singing along to good music. She has since moved in with her boyfriend, but we are still very close and talk on the phone at least weekly. Additionally, we both grew up in large families, so I think we were just used to dealing with others' idiosyncrasies and not sweating the small stuff. It may drive me crazy when she would leave stuff on the island, but I probably drove her crazy when I left coffee cups half drank in the living room. You just get bothered by different things and learn to shrug it off. Way more many people make sound while sleeping than I taught. There is no need for cleaning because it will look like shit 30 minutes after. People are gross. If you write your name on your eggs in magic marker, the ink goes through the shell into the eggy bit inside. That'll never live with roommates again. They don't clean up after themselves. People are cunts. That I'm very well suited to living alone. I am a terrible roommate. Privacy is worth an extra $250 a month. To not have roommates. You cook for yourself, you clean it. Others want to use the kitchen too. How much I hate having roommates. Lazy and filthy. It isn't polite to cut your toenails in front of others. They would prefer you use the shower. If you meet your roommate upon move-in, you can end up being friends. Move in with a friend and it's the end to that friendship. Sometimes your buddy will show up at 11 p.m. in a fake referee's costume, covered in green jello and smelling like cheap booze, and want to talk about it. And you just gotta give him space until he's had a chance to shower off the sticky confetti. For people moving in with friends for the first time, enjoying being around someone while doing something fun isn't the same thing as enjoying living with them. My example was a high school friend who could be a bit overbearing at times but was otherwise okay. I quickly found out I only thought they were okay because I could get away from them when needed in HS. When we roomed together was one of the worst times in my entire life, and I haven't spoken to them since. Cutting out toxic people is good. But finding out just how toxic they are in a situation where you're stuck being around them and have no place of respite is not the way to do it. I hate being around people for extended periods of time, and privacy is the most important thing in the world to me. Pretty sure I lost a friend because he thought I hated him after we moved in together. I would just spend all of my time in my room avoiding him because I needed a break from socializing. Lol. A lot more people than I realized have had their parents, maids, caretakers do almost everything for them. I've been roommates with both men and women. This is very subjective. When living with men, their tolerance for messes was different. Things could be messy. Laundry not done. Bed a mess. Trash not taken out. With women? It was different. Bathroom sink just covered in makeup items, hair everywhere. Tampons and such not hidden. For women, when something was bad, it was fucking disgusting. Like bodily fluid disgusting. With women, I had much less privacy as well. I was in my bedroom and my roommate walked in with her girlfriend. They were both totally naked from just showering. And asking me about lunch plans. Nothing sexual, just casual. But I remember laying down, looking up, and her vagina was right in my face. She would also do things like borrow my panties, borrow my vibrator, sneak in my bed to cuddle. If one of us walked by the other, we were spanking the shit out of each other as well. I was bent over unloading the dishwasher and she spanked me so fucking hard. She said she could resist. How to set and maintain healthy boundaries. Sadly, it's not something we usually learn about until we're having our boundaries violated. Also, always keep a hidden roll of toilet paper in a secret place. Trigonometry. That I would never want to have one ever again. I recently started sharing an apartment with two sisters. I must say it's been amazing. We are all reasonable people who do their chores and help each other from time to time. What I learned is that it's really nice to come back home after a long day and have someone to chill and have a beer with. I guess I was lucky to find people I vibe with. Roomies can be great, but have had zero luck living with close friends. Arm's-length friends are much better for this. You can stand them, but don't mind not hanging out too. It's better to have frequent small conflicts and confrontations than to let things go and pile up in your mind. Like, hey, do the dishes. Not you do the dishes for weeks and then now you're genuinely mad. Nothing is safe. No one wants to do the dishes, and so, instead of, do your dishes when you are done, doesn't work. Only thing that works with lazy roommates is, do your dishes when you need them. Sounds gross, keeping dishes dirty most of the times. But with the kind of roommates I had, if you continued cleaning your dishes once you are done, they will still not do it, and they will simply use your cleaned dishes and will put them in the cleaning pile. The only way to get them to clean their dishes is to put them in a position when they can't avoid it, so everyone has to wash and use when they need it. That the roommate's girlfriend passed out on the floor from what you assume is a heroin nod as you leave for work at 3 a.m. may actually be a corpse. Don't room with friends from your childhood church as a new young adult if you don't plan on churching. Just how thin the thread I was holding on by, a dirty glass in the sink, is all it takes. Hell is other people. Even though I clearly told him not to. My first college roommate would borrow my clean underwear when he failed to do laundry and return them dirty, especially after a date. Lesson learned reminds me of a famous phrase from Shakespeare's Hamlet *. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. IDK. Why all of these comments are talking about how bad roommates are. True, it's hell if you don't get along, but if you do, it's like having a friend around all the time that you can hang out, talk, and play games with. Sure, there are some arguments, but the good outweighs the bad. Emo. Subscribe for more content.